Jeffrey says y'all are late. That's fine. You're right, Jeffrey. You calling us out.
We almost didn't make it.
Yeah, we got a couple things going on. We got our normal connections to Facebook we don't have today, and LinkedIn. I mean, Facebook and Instagram. So,
but look, Jeffrey's here.
Jeffrey's here.
So, Jeffrey, let me tell you.
Oh, wait a minute. On time, he's here.
Yeah, more on time than we are. As you know, we are the Allison and Marc podcast, Married in Media. We're so happy to be with you this afternoon. So much to talk about.
So much to
we
talk
have
about.
been absent, I think, for the last week and then this week, right? So
we didn't do one last week?
No, I don't think we did one last week. Lots going on, y'all. So we didn't do one last week, but we are two Gen X media pros who happen to be married with 3 grown kids. And we talk about everything from politics, especially right now, to pop culture, a lot in between, basically a whole lot of love. And Jeffrey, you might be our guide today because, again, we're missing our Facebook family today. But look, let's just
it's
just
interesting because
anyway.
Jeffrey's in on Facebook. Jeffrey, are you a first timer? Because it's interesting on YouTube. I mean, and because again, I see the little YouTube thing, and normally I don't get to see that, so it's good. So, so as far as we said politics, babe, I'm gonna have to hit this off. What a difference a day makes.
Pretty.
29 little hours, 24 little hours. So it went from, it's crazy, right? I mean, I think that the energy around the Democratic Party is off the Shazam.
The money raised in the weeks since President Biden stepped out of the race for the 2024 presidential election. The money, I think the enthusiasm, I think it's interesting to feel curiosity, like, you know, who is Governor Tim Walz, you know what I mean? I got to say, though, what I see of him, he just seems like a super smart, connector of all people, successful in Congress for, I believe, I forget, I don't want to call it, I think it was something like 6 terms. I'll check it. And second term as a governor out in Minnesota. It just seems like a connector. Plain, like I love his approach. He was a coach and a high school teacher, and it just seems like an interesting fit because I think that sometimes Vice President and presidential nominee Kamala Harris can come off like if you don't know that kind of woman. Right. She might come off like, okay, now who is this? It reminds me of like when the Cosby Show was on and people were like, you know, people aren't really like that. You know what I mean? Black people aren't really like that. And
you grew up in a neighborhood like that.
I grew up not in a neighborhood with people. And we all know, I mean, you know, we all know a person like Kamala Harris, as far as she might have been your teacher, she might have been the lawyer, she might have been whoever, but him coming in with his approach and then her approach. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see the reaction from the on the other side. And I'm seriously, I have to stock up on popcorn for these debates if they happen.
It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, if they happen.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. And I don't know. Yeah, it seems like, I don't know if, you know, it's interesting. I think it would be smart for them not to debate, for the Republicans not to debate, because I don't think that's going to be a strength for, you know, former President Trump or his VP. I don't think it would be a strength. You know, I think they need to stay away.
But I think that don't you have to? Don't you have to? I mean, former President Trump said, everybody knows who we are. We don't have to. So, yeah, I guess we'll see how that works. But yeah, I'm just interested. It's such an interesting, we're saying that word a lot, interesting, because it is. Like, if you're a political scientist right now, you are, and you got 20 research papers on how the tide has changed.
And I will say, as somebody from the Midwest, they keep talking about him and
Governor
the charm.
Walz?
Yes.
Or because J.D. Vance is from the Midwest too.
But how do you say his name? Walz?
Walz, like Walz. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They keep talking about Governor Walz in the Midwest, and it's interesting. Where I come from, which is the Midwest, he definitely is that, that Indiana, Illinois, middle of the road. And it was funny because when I first saw him, I didn't have the sound up. I just saw his faces, his support behind her.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, oh, Lord, it's going to be a cornball. Because he was like, he was rah-rah.
He getting down in the dirt.
And then when I turned it up, he was like every coach I had coming up.
Yep.
Funny, a motivator, sympathetic, you know what I mean? All those things that are kind of like
coach give you a ride home after practice.
Exactly. He was the guy that gave everybody a ride home after practice. He's the guy you told your deepest, darkest situation you had to get out of and you need some help. So so at first I was like, I thought Shapiro was, and I think
everybody thought
I think the interesting breakdown, I'm sorry, we won't be long on politics, but the interesting breakdown to me is all of the like the numbers people, especially if it's a male, they're like, oh, why didn't they, it's stupid not to pick Shapiro because he could have stolen that, a certain aspect from Pennsylvania and blah, blah, blah. It's funny. The human, the more personable people really got the vibe of the pick. Didn't know him, but I'm really impressed. The numbers people kind of all said the same thing. Shapiro should have been. They made a mistake. They should have went with so and so. They're saying, and I think it does speak to like two schools of thought in life in general. The people who are not like feelers, to me, who are kind of cold, they didn't get it. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't think he brings, because they're looking at it like, well, you had a chance to get Pennsylvania, which you have to win. You have to win Pennsylvania to win. Yeah. So why mess around, right? But I get it. I get it. Like he's a smoozer. He's a connector. Like you say, he's a teacher. He's a veteran. It's like anybody who is a warm or a fuzzy, warm and fuzzy or a connector. And
he's funny. And he's not afraid to clap back.
Yeah.
He's already started doing
that. I think we probably fit in that box, kind of communicators, da-da-da. You definitely go. I totally get it.
Right.
And to be honest, Shapiro, who, yes, he can bring you Pennsylvania. He definitely, I think, was powerful. I think again, we like him too because he's funny, he's sharp, and he's a pit bull too. But I don't know how he plays in other places.
Look, let's face it too. America, we still have a long way to go. I love this country. I get frustrated with this country, but it's my country, and I'm here. And I'm not interested in living or being in another country. I don't think that we are, as Americans, necessarily ready for all that change. And what I'm talking about is a woman of color, and a Jewish vice president either. So what you're saying is right. There's still a lot of people with a lot of homophobic views and a lot of anti-Semitic views. And I think that I'm not saying that was what it was because Kamala Harris is married to Doug Emhoff, who is also is a Jewish gentleman. So he's a proper Jewish gentleman. He's proper.
What is that? What is the term if she's elected president? What is it called?
He's going to be the first gentleman. He'll be the proper first gentleman.
I love it. Thank God I married a smart and beautiful woman.
Yeah. So anyway, so we'll see. Here's my thing: I hated to even post anything when Kamala Harris got the nomination, when the ticket was then, because sure enough, on my Facebook, here comes somebody. Trump Vance 2024. Okay, this is not the space for that. And I actually got people on my Facebook saying, block her. Right. And then she was like, why block me? It's a free country. First of all, you don't even follow me. You saw this. I reposted, I think, a CBS report or AP report about the vice presidential pick. And first thing out the gate, like no reaction to that, but just, Trump Vance 2024, which was sadly a divisive comment. That's what you think of when you think of the far right in the Republican camp with the Make America Great Again folks. So you knew what you were doing. I did not block her.
No.
Let it simmer. Let it do what it's going to do. But that was not the right time. And I'm like, who was this? Was this Wonder Woman with the bracelet? I'm a blocking fool, yes. And I will be. Say something racist. Say something sexist. Say something just outlandish, whatever. Somebody on my thing said this is, they called her, so disrespectful, called her camel toe and the hawk tui guy. Hawk tui is a really nasty thing. They called the
girl.
They called her. Yeah, but they were calling him that basically, and her camel toe. This is on my Facebook page. Like,
man, I'm not going on your Facebook page. Why?
Because it gets a lot of traffic from folks that are in my Facebook family, and then people comment. So I'm on a block and spree, baby.
But in all fairness, babe, the person with the little slogan, I don't know if that's that aggressive. It is aggressive, but I don't know if it's not offensive.
I post.
Whatever you
Kamala
posted,
Harris,
she's just
and
the only
thing that she posts
was blah, blah. Yes,
was Trump Vance 2024.
Yeah.
Now this is not the space for that. I'm not saying who are you voting for, because that's not my business. I wouldn't ask that question.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is the information.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's not offensive. It's like, just like when we just did.
It was meant to instigate, meant to divide, meant to be. I put out a statement that says, this is the ticket. And this is who the presidential nominee has chosen. And the only thing underneath that she says is Trump Vance 2024 with an American flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it, baby.
That's it. So, but it sounded like you were saying it's not, it shouldn't be.
It's a segue.
It shouldn't be offensive. It shouldn't be offensive. But in this climate, it is an incendiary thing to do. I'm sorry, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to segue.
Fire! Yelling fire!
Well, I don't know, babe. Because, like, for instance, this weekend we were out. This past weekend we're out. You're out doing your thing with the Commanders.
So we're out here today with the WUSA 9 tent is here. This is Kids Day for Commanders Training Camp. We are the official Commanders station in Channel 9. So we got to be out here. I'm out here with Topper. I'm late. I'm supposed to be here at 9.
Do some baby shark.
Cool. I don't know how the baby shark goes. All right, let's go Commanders.
Had a great time.
About this?
No, I'm saying we went out there, had a great time, posted it now. Somebody right under the thing, because I'm a Baltimore Raven fan. People watched it. Somebody said, "Go Ravens." Go Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing, right? Go Ravens. Almost like, yeah. Whatever you saying, Marc, Clarke, and Allison, go Ravens. And Marc, Baltimore's going to look at you, whatever. It's like, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, rah. Okay. And then that was another thing we did this weekend. What else did we do this weekend? We were out in the streets of, not Silver Spring, but in the streets of...
we went to Wheaton.
And so got a little this guy.
It was Caribbean Heritage Festival. Come on, y'all. Necessarily, because it doesn't look that well. I love this country. I love it.
If you'll be jealous, this lady right here was great. Wanted to get with the big guy. Look, come on now, man. Whiny. You don't know about this. That's how So yeah, a good time. A good time had by all.
That's how I grew up. I got to get out here and enjoy the weekend.
And speaking of having a good time, babe, this just in, I couldn't post the video. I was going to post the video. I'm no longer with Fox 45 and Be More News and So Baltimore. I am now excited. Marc Clarke Media Group.
All right.
Marc Clarke Media Group. Let's go. It's all these, conversations or times that I've started and stopped. This is a chance to really go at it, really grow on our podcast. Some other situations. I had good news. I had a couple meetings today, and I'm really excited. Okay. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I feel like, I definitely feel like sometimes things are sort of so seemingly out of the blue that you just got to be like, wow, I can't wait. I just will never forget my sweet dad. Today is my father's birthday.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't get me emotional. What's up, Dad? Oh, wow. Really?
Today is Papa's birthday.
Wow.
And it's already been weirdly 6 years since he passed
crazy.
away. Get the math right. Like, yep, 6 years. It feels just like yesterday. Time is like in a weird pattern right now. It feels like that. If you ask me, when did your dad make his transition off the dome? 2 years ago. No, it's been 6 years, and he had 102 sayings that we live by to this day that we quote. And one of them, or one time, I just will never forget, we were headed down south for a beach week vacation, and the best times were when we were able to take him with us. After my mom passed for like 2 years, he was with us, and our car broke down on the way down. Now when we go, is almost all the way down in Georgia. It's way down in South Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. And so the car breaks down, and it's hot. It is so hot, and he's sitting there in the car, and we're waiting for the tow truck to come and all of that. And he says, "Wow, well, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this."
I remember that.
And that's what we live by. And so when you said, "Well, I'm not going to be with the TV station anymore," which beautiful job, beautiful opportunity at Fox 45. I was like, well, I can't wait to see. In my mind, I cannot wait to see what good comes of this.
And that's why I feel about it. Let me just say this again.
Don't even do it. It's okay.
I'm just going to say,
what are we going to do?
I have a friend. I have the most amazing wife, period. It's not a contest. I have the most amazing wife, period.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I do. Because everybody, of course, everybody said, well, how's Allison? She's fine.
Yeah.
The best wife ever. So speaking of wives, saw this online, babe. I wanted to get your take on this.
Okay.
I think I know your answer. The minister is giving advice. This minister is telling, as all good ministers do, they give advice to the flock.
Sure, that's what they do.
And so if you're in the flock, babe, do you agree with this advice?
I just don't like this. I just don't like that. For you to turn around and look her right in her God-given eyeballs and say, shut your mouth.
Your wife's talking too much.
Just shut up. But if you're the man you ought to be, you'd have been doing that all along. You're supposed to lead your house. You're not supposed to follow her.
Allison, come back.
You are so exhausting. You are so exhausting. Here's how I feel about it. Here's how I feel about it. I'm gonna be 100%.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it 100%.
Keep it one behind.
With you. As long as we have people spewing this bullshit, okay, then we're going to have a society that does not value women. Okay, man. That does not value the difference of opinions. Yes, we are both in. What does that even mean? What does it even mean? Look, my daddy was a minister. Okay,
yes.
Never once did he say, "Shut your." I wish he. Shut your mouth and do what I say because I'm the leader of this household. How unkind. How outrageous. How. We have daughters, okay? To marginalize and minimize and diminish a whole opinion or thoughts or contributions to a house because of some antiquated idea, right? When women couldn't vote or have credit cards or buy anything in their name, this is 2024, and that never, we look at some ancient civilizations where we have women and men running things, right? That really gets me so upset because you know what that leads to? Shut up.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm on the ground like, okay. And now because I don't have a job because I'm waiting on, look, this is fine. People stay at home, men, women, one income. If you're, that's not my business. But what I'm saying is when you have that attitude, what's next? You didn't shut up. Okay, here we go. Now what's your rights? Don't get me started. I don't even know now, but very recently there were rules on the books that allowed men to it wasn't rape to do whatever they wanted sexually
Oh,
to
yeah.
their so
Couldn't be
shut
charged with it. No.
your mouth, little man. Get from behind the pulpit and be a real man and understand and recognize and value what your wife is saying, or give her the right, if all it is, to be like, shut your mouth. I cannot do it. It is so, for me, it is so, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And look, if your beliefs are that whole, in the Bible, women submit to their husbands and all, I'm not even, that's on you. If that's your household, that's not what I'm coming for. But this advice from the pulpit, so you have a weakly ass man now go home, and because he thinks his wife, who is going out to work and then coming home and trying to tell him to get his ass off the couch and please, can you please do something? And she's nagging him and shut your mouth. Nah, bruh. Just because you're born with different parts does not make you does not allow you to disrespect anyone. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's saying you don't have to respect women, period. Because if you think that ends with that person's household, that guy, this minister tells him to do this. He goes home, he inflicts this dominance over his wife, but he can't do it at his job when his boss is a woman. So where's that anger go?
Yeah.
I'm over it. And that's how I feel about it. And I hate to get upset and drop the cusses. But doggone it makes me mad.
I did, the part I think.
Shut your mouth, because
I think the part about.
I wish Facebook was working on that. You need to save that comment from when Facebook is working, so we can get some debate going on.
Oh
that.
yeah, well, it isn't even a debate. I think
it's some men truly believe that. And here's my thing: I'm not in your home. I'm not saying, like, if you want to do the whole. I don't even know where it is in the Bible, but the whole submit thing. If that's your thing, that's your household. Do that. But I got a problem with this
as a teaching.
I got a problem with this man, and that's what he is at the end of the day. He's a preacher, but he's a man. So I got a problem with this man doing this blanket thing, and the little girls in the congregation say, "Okay,
yeah, come on now,
please don't." Religion has been used. My daddy was a minister, so I can look. I'm not saying this out of turn. I'm not like an atheist just talking out my behind here. Religion has been used to control.
Yes.
For centuries, and still going on now in 2024. Nope.
Yeah, the lack of humanity.
Because look at what look, Handmaid's Tale. Look at what it leads to. Ooh. In an extreme case, look at what it can lead to. So I think that's highly irresponsible. It makes me angry and sick, and he needs to shut his damn mouth.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up, baby.
You knew that would get me upset. No, let's talk about the Olympics. How the United States has dominated the world.
Okay, so you actually talk about it every morning. What's your favorite so far?
Oh, you gotta talk about Simone Biles, coming out of, and okay, so this is a perfect example. Just the blending of the two things before we get out of here, for our two loyal listeners right now. But perfect. Simone Biles, last go around in the Olympics, says she gets I think it's called the twisties. And like mentally she's not there. And I guess when you get that, like you're just off your game. So she bowed out. And you're thinking, okay, well, she was wonderful. She was great. And let's see who comes next. Well, guess who comes next? Simone Biles. After getting married, so I think she's like 27 years old, 27. And just dominates again and just makes the United States so proud. And then there's a comment from some political people. Now we're in an era now where we value mental health, right? But now you have some politicians coming out, and now this is a whole stream of consciousness with the politicians. Basically, we applaud this weakness, and that So what's the truth here?
And what were they talking about it when it happened last time? It happened this time. It did not happen.
No, but they're saying that oh my God, we love you, Simone Biles, because you took care of yourself, and then you came back, and they're saying that should not be applauded.
I didn't even understand. I didn't even take time to listen to the BS they were talking about, because it was ridiculous. What she was doing this year is amazing.
Amazing.
So that's how they were framing it. Like, we celebrated the fact that she got mental health help.
No, that she they say like she was basically showed weakness.
Yeah, she quit. That's what they kind of focus on, but they not discounting the healing and
discounting the mental health aspect.
Yeah.
And so this is what we're talking about, like,
and why people don't sometimes talk about it because they don't want to be judged and all that kind of stuff.
But moreover, aren't we in a space where we value the need for or the importance of good mental health?
Amen.
I thought we were in that space.
Yeah.
So no, it's shown as weakness. And what I'm realizing is that weak thing, we gotta talk about this again when we're back up and running full speed. But what is it with this concept of you're weak if you vote this way?
How old is that?
Or like this preacher just did, you're weak as a man if you don't run your house with an iron fist. That seems to be a common common thread here.
And the part that really is funny about that is when you look at the elected officials that talk that way, that's the part that's funny. The part that's funny.
Yeah.
You were a scrub. You never won nothing. You never busted a grape. You never were.
Marc loves that phrase.
You never were desired. You were never You never was him. You never were her. You were always on the outskirts. I mean, I'm not gonna name names because I can, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
What's my man's name? Been around forever. Effeminate, Republican, blonde hair. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you never got picked first in any team sport. Mm-hmm. And they talk this hard game. And you know, Ted Cruz, are you serious? You guys ain't the vice president, man.
Now, just because you're out of TV doesn't mean you can name names.
I can name names now. Don't matter.
You can do it. Yeah. I'll just be over here. I'll be in the back.
But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The irony of it all is, dude, you got punched in the chest every day. You were the manager. You weren't the star ever.
That's why.
And you're talking all this. It's like you say. It's all this. Just like that minister. That minister was never the guy. Nope. You know, when it is the guy, it is much more powerful. When Arnold Schwarzenegger said whatever, and he was actually moderate. You know what I mean? That person, it's a different kind of, you know, you look.
Oh, you know what? I do love that. I do love it, like when, not to name names, but Arnold Schwarzenegger went up against he has no love lost for a popular politician, and he speaks his mind against him.
Yeah.
And I do love that because that is what a person who seeks validation and all
that's
that.
Who you want to be.
That's who you want to be.
You want to be me.
That's who you want to be.
All right. So.
All right. Well, so to our two, right. That's why I'm saying you don't say names.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, y'all. 200,000. Final words, baby.
Final words is can we post this?
The radio back.
Can we post this on?
Of course.
Facebook? Okay.
And we're back. We're doing our radio thing. We'll continue to.
Well, I never
ramp
said
up our radio thing.
So.
Yeah, we never did stop.
So never mind.
Brand new content, put it that way.
Okay, well, we're happy. We're trying to be back all the time. It's a new era, and yeah, how you feeling?
Good.
Feeling all right?
Yeah, I think actually
for the people, the hundreds who will watch later, the thousands who will watch later.
Yes.
How are you feeling in this time of transition? Because it's not easy.
I feel good. I think actually what's going on, baby, there's some rumblings, I think so. I can't, for legal reasons, say exactly what happened.
You don't need to say what happened. What I'm saying
is, how does it feel?
What I'm saying you're in this little piece right here.
Yeah, this little piece right here. I think, like you said, I was just thinking about this. Look at this. How many podcasts and how streaming has grown. Streaming is, hey baby, it's neck and neck. You know, there was a time when you said streaming and this and that. When I remember in the basement and nobody, you'd be like, what? Even like with our radio station, it's on, 100 hip hop and R&B. It's a website. There was a time when people were like, I don't get it. Now people get it. I always say that interview, the Cat Williams, Shannon Sharp interview was a transition where the older crowd, especially the older Black crowd, was tapped into streaming. Because after that point, people just be, TV, it was on TV. If you said it was streaming, I remember I was at the at a restaurant the first time they streamed NFL game on, what do we buy? Amazon. And it was baby, it was amazing because imagine there were grown men sitting at the table and they were sitting there, ordered their wings, and they're like, yep. So they had never really done it before. So you saw them get their phones out. There's like one person that knows how to do it. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, I don't know about this. This is the game. It's time to start the game. And so when it starts, so he pulls it up. And so I look back 10 minutes later, everybody, they're eating their wings, now looking at your phone. And it's like, oh, I like this concept.
The death of society.
Right. And then they put it on here. But you know what I mean? It was like, it was like a moment. And now those same people who I'm sure as they drove to meet each other to have these wings were totally against it. They were like, you know what? I can actually work in the shop and have my phone and watch the game. I can actually go on vacation. So, it kind of clicked. So I think I'm in a space where I know that our podcast and other activities we want to do, they may or may not be on traditional television, but they can also be streamed and get an audience. Unlike tonight when we're off our other platforms, but so I feel good.
Okay.
Because mainly I got the baddest chick in the game wearing my chain.
I want to know how you feel emotionally being in this space, because I think our strength for the two people on here, I think our strength is being 100% real, and I think that there are plenty of people who are in a state of transition. I'll talk about when I was in my state of transition. It can be a scary feeling. It can feel like why has this space been created? It can feel like, will I ever be exactly where I want to be again? Because I thought this other thing was secure, and how will I muster the faith to continue when it feels like the rug has been pulled out from underneath me for whatever reason?
Okay.
That's what I want to ask you.
Okay, so I will say this.
And it's nothing about the particulars of anything. I'm talking about how do you feel?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. And I was talking to a friend, and he went into the, brother, you got to be careful. I don't want you to slip into depression. That the whole the thing. But I think, and you know me.
Yeah.
You know me, and you'll say I have no high, no lows.
Right.
I think the reality was, after the Big Fat Morning Show,
radio show in Baltimore,
which was
2008.
Yes, radio, which is my first love, my passion. After that, I missed the show, but I learned what I learned about myself, which I think was such a blessing, and I think it happened on my way to the Big Fat Morning Show. Was when I met you in St. Louis. Was I had given my whole life to radio as a young man, with the plan of getting there to the bigger place. Mm-hmm. And ironically, it was in St. Louis. So up to that point, I dated people. I led with it. We just started dating. And I'd say, let's say you're one of the early people. Allison, if a job opportunity comes, I'm out. And so I would lead with that. You know what I mean? And so it was in St. Louis where I'm doing the show. We're number one. I'm super popular. Blah blah blah. Check ain't nothing. And they did the general manager. He came and he dressed me down. He told me we were trying to get some more money. And whenever my partner, who was the lead of the show, said, Mark, I want to split it 50-50 with Mark. He needs to be on the show. He needs this and that and that. He's that important to me, which was what a blessing. Tony Scott. What a blessing. General manager comes back and says, well, hey, Mark. Now, I didn't say this. Tony said it. Mm-hmm. He said, hey, Mark, I talked to the program director. He said, you're not that important. He said, Tony's a star. And he says that your name's not going to be on the show, and you're not going to share the pay. Mm-hmm. Just want you to know. So he basically, slapped me in the face with his crotch for no reason. And then at the end of the negotiation, I'll never forget, the plan was we were going to, again, we went in with an agent, and at the end of it, they gave Tony his money and a brand new computer.
And they gave you
and I just walked out
2 donuts and a kick in that rear end.
Yes, here you go. Enjoy that 30. And so at that point, babe, that was my wake-up call, I think, that broke me from the connection to this is me, like radio, Marc Clarke, it's me.
Mhm.
So then that's when I met you. I put my guard down. Up at that point, I wasn't even, you know what I mean? It wasn't a priority. I let it down. I followed you out to here and landed the biggest job of my career. So
Right.
believe it or not, when the biggest job of my career got taken away, it was over. I think the biggest problem people have is they have made that job them. You know what I'm saying?
Now you preaching.
And so I think that's what
now you are
that's
preaching.
the blessing is I'd already been through that, but I didn't do that.
Now you're
It was the
preaching.
biggest paycheck. It was I built a family. We built this house, but it wasn't like, you know, when you say Marc Clarke, I'm not just the radio guy, just the TV guy. So
now you're preaching.
I already have been through that.
Yeah.
And so as you know, the segue in the TV, the crazy part about the TV thing is it was perfect. It was a perfect job doing what I love to do. Touch the community, be myself, be a messenger, or share a story.
Off script.
Storyteller.
Mhm.
So I'm in this perfect scenario, and you're just
and now
like,
it's a time of transition again.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, so we don't know, but
Yeah.
all of the skill set, everything that you did, the people that you touched, that you don't even know who those people necessarily are yet. And here's what you asked me about my party word. Thank you for sharing that, because that's just an important reminder. This thing can get taken away. It's all an illusion. What matters is right. What matters is who, what you give out to the world and how you react to when these perfect situations get taken, because there's no really taken. That's the other part. There's no really taken.
Exactly.
It just is what it is. So this is the lesson here. This is my lesson. This is, I think, you know, what you're gaining your lesson too.
But let's not get it twisted. And you hate when but I'm going to say the difference between my situation and most, I'm going to say most, babe, is I have a wife that when I have the kind of wife where I can genuinely, that when I got let go in 92Q, I just wanted to be with you. I just wanted to be with you. I just want to be with my family.
Amen.
The thing was over. Come home, be with Allison.
And
I didn't have that, you know, everybody's like, including my mother, my late mother, everybody was worried. They were like, you know, because, you know, a lot of times that's the end. The money goes, whatever. You hear these people. With you, now, I could have been wrong, but I had a reason not to be. I had no doubt that you would love me just the same.
Mhm.
And you did. I came home. You weren't like, what are we going to do now? I mean, I'm sure you had to think that. And so just
you know what we did? And this is like, this is it. This is 100% transparency. We had to, we drained our 401s. We, any money that we could get in different savings, we had to drain that, because
the market dropped at the same time.
The market dropped. You were definitely the money maker of the family, and it's just like that's what bothers me, I think, about that preacher, because that's not, for me, a true marriage and a true partnership.
Right.
Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. God willing, when you're down, I'm up. When I'm up, because it's all ours together.
Right.
Because we build a home together. And that's what bothers me. I was like, what is it about that sentiment? Earlier, we played a clip from a preacher who was like, if your wife is nagging you too much, tell her to shut her mouth, because you're the head of the household. Yeah, no. And so when you say, like, besides just being like, you don't have to say that I'm the best wife, and you don't have to do that. But besides that, this is what it is. You know what I mean? This is what it is.
That is true.
And
well, some people have a
and I understand it. No, that's fine.
Not a misunderstanding. Everybody's rules are different, I guess.
And money is what it is.
Yeah.
You're facing eviction. You can't make your rent. You depending on two incomes, and then one is suddenly gone. I can get it, and the resentment and the frustration. That stuff is all real. We're not taking it away, but look, this is just what it is. It's just, we have a partnership. Yeah. And so, and it reminds me, speaking of which, and I said it was my dad's birthday,
come on, Dad.
Lafayette, and he suffered one summer. I was waiting for him to come pick me up. He worked downtown DC, and I had a job in an area called Foggy Bottom. It was like right in the middle of getting to our house in DC, and he would pick me up. And one day he picked me up and we drove an old 67 Volkswagen Beetle and the top was down. It was so hot. And I was standing out with a friend waiting for him to come pick me up. And I noticed the car was swerving over. This is a busy DC streets. It was swerving around and people, were blowing. And then I looked in the car and Papa looked out of it. He didn't look like himself. And let me tell you something, Lafayette was a handsome heck of a man. That was that Memphis, baby. Okay. That was that cornbread and collard greens, hot water cornbread. That was my daddy. And he looked weak. He didn't look the same. And my friend who I was standing with said, "Is that your dad? Like something doesn't look right." So he pulls up, and this is going back to your comment about what you wanted to do after you were laid off. He pulls up, and I'm like, something right. I said, "Papa, let me drive. Something." And I'm a daddy's girl. Let me drive. He's in the car. He begins to be sick. I could see that his briefcase, which was a leather briefcase, his books had been thrown in haphazardly. He was very fastidious with his stuff, not a neat freak, but he liked his things like he liked his things, and nothing was right. I realized he was either having a heat stroke or he was having another sort of medical emergency. We're driving through the park. We're almost home. I am in tears. I'm panicking. Got this man right here. He is, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody, going through a stroke, like stroke symptoms. And I said, "Papa, I'm sorry. I got to get you to the hospital. He said, "Just take me home. I want to see my wife." He said, "I want to see my wife." And so if you think I'm a good wife, I learned it from my parents. I learned it from that moment when he could have lost his life and all he wanted to do was go home and see his wife, which is reminiscent of what you said. I just want to go home and see my wife and be with my family. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. And I'll leave you with this. The last time I went to church was before Joe Biden dropped out of the race, and I felt like American politics was in a real weird state of flux. And the minister, Michelle Haggins, she said her message was, God or faith is in the intersection of the planned, what you planned, and the interruption. In the intersection of that is God. You got to have faith. And my daddy used to say the faith of a mustard seed. And so that's why I know that everything is going to be all right, that we're going to be victorious.
Yes. At
the end of the day. In all of it, good will outshine the bad, period. And so that's where that comes from. And that's all I got to say for our faithful 3 people with us today. We love you, Jeffrey. Maybe it's okay. Yes. Yep. Sky's the limit. God bless you too, Jeffrey. Yeah, this has become USA. God bless America, and and how to come back from a setback.
Jeffrey, thanks for rocking with us, man, and everybody else who watched. All right, that's it. Every Wednesday.
That's it.
We'll be in full force next week.
Okay, full force.
Full force. Here we come. Oh, you know what? We might be we got a couple live events coming up.
Okay, well, we don't know the specifics.
Yeah, so I'm saying it might be our first one. Might be next weekend.
Okay,
next week, not next Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, you got to give me some time to get it together. I don't know about that.
All right.
All right, love you.
Thanks, guys.